Power stance. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have with me the beautiful, the amazing, the eyes of the galaxy, queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
Eyes of the galaxy.
That was a new one.
I like that. What's up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. Happy to be joining you on a Saturday morning. A little disoriented.
Where am I?
I did my meditation like 20 minutes ago. I was in complete zen. I'm like, who am I? Where are we? And yes, but we're here.
Yes, we are.
We are here.
Uh-huh.
It's a little cloudy.
It's a lot.
Gotta give you the weather report.
Yep.
It's a little cloudy, but we're here drinking our tea. We got our peak tea, which is it's pu'er tea, fermented green tea. We're gonna talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, I'm just looking confused.
We switched it up from coconut water this week. We're doing a pu'er tea, which is a fermented green tea. Very good for adding beneficial beneficial bacteria to your gut.
Thank you, my personal health coach. I appreciate you. Real quick. So last week, we asked y'all if I'm allowed to eat on the podcast. I just want to address this really quickly because I know y'all are worried. I know y'all wanted this answer. We asked y'all, am I allowed to drink and eat on this podcast? So it was an overwhelming no to me eating on the podcast. All right, so I appreciate everyone who tuned in and gave their answer, though you gave the wrong answer. But I will no longer eat on the podcast. The people have spoken. All right. Now the drinking was mixed.
Okay.
Drinking is allowed apparently, but okay. But we should have separate cups. All right, and the separate cups came from Grandy. What's up, Grandy? Oh, love Grandy, #1 fan. We appreciate you. Separate cups came from Grandy. So as you can see today, Queen, go ahead and pull it up.
It's a little hot.
Yeah, don't drink it. Don't hurt yourself.
No, I mean the cup itself, because it was just in the microwave.
We got 2 cups. We appreciate
because we're not married.
We are married. Hold on now. Put on false
that
rumors
was sarcasm.
Put on false rumors out there. So speaking of marriage, right? It's one very funny romantic. I don't know if it's called a romantic comedy or romantic tragedy, but a thin line between love and hate. Right? That's kind of the
between love and hate. Come on, young buck. You don't know about that. You don't know nothing about
that. Send help. Long story short, today we have a marriage coaching couple who's also married themselves. And their tagline, their brand is called "Married into Crazy." They have it right. I feel like that was cool.
Yes,
that was good. So we're gonna bring them on here to talk about their own journey, their own marriage, what the crazy method is when it comes to marriage coaching, and how they balance love and business. Queen, are you ready?
Ready.
Well, without further vocals and further ado, let's get into the episode.
Get into the episode.
We're out. There it is. Let's go ahead and welcome Lovey and Snooks, the hosts of the Married into Crazy podcast. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
We are blessed and stressed a little bit, a little sprinkle of stress in there, but more so blessed.
Got that.
Amen. I hear you. Look, we're enjoying the intro. I was like, okay.
Always trying to get better every single year. Just so y'all know, episode 1 looked nothing like this. No. y'all know the progression. Episode 1 looked nothing like that.
Did we have a handshake?
Did we have a handshake by episode 1? I don't even know. I feel like we probably did. Anyway, if you're watching this live, go ahead and give this a like, share it. We appreciate it. As Snooks and Lovey make up their handshake live.
I'm kind of jealous. Come on.
Love it.
No,
But if y'all don't, yeah, oh, there we go. Come on.
Hey.
Next time you see us, we're gonna have our handshake. It's gonna be a little different kind of dap.
Love it. There you go. If y'all don't take one nugget from this, watching every married couple, go ahead and make up a handshake.
You know,
all right, just go ahead and do it. But as we get into it, can we learn a little bit about who y'all are? So if y'all don't mind doing a short intro of Lovey and Snooks, I'm sure there's first of all a backstory to these nicknames, and then if we can get into how you two lovely people got to meet each other.
Okay, remember we only got 45 minutes, so.
Wow, really? Didn't go, Mr. Unabridged.
So she was up on the pole, and then I was only down with some change.
I can change your life.
She said, "I don't accept change," but I said, "But I got a credit card."
Wow.
No, for real though. We actually met.
Silly.
We had mutual friends and family that knew each other, and they kept saying that we should meet. And I was a single parent. Snooks was, single, and we both were getting out of horrible relationships, so we didn't want anything to do.
I have been out, so let's just say that.
And we want nothing to do with a relationship, period. And we got tricked into meeting each other. So it was kind of a blind date or a blind bamboozlement.
It wasn't a date. It was an absolute bamboozle. So the lady that his mom's best friend worked with me, and she kept telling me for like 6 months, "Oh, you got to meet this guy, blah blah blah." Same thing. Come to find out, on his side, they were saying the same thing. And long story short, he ended up taking her to our Christmas party. I did not find out until I was putting my dress on. My friend called me and she was like, "Hey," I was like, "I'm on my way. Just got to spruce my hair up, whatever." She was like, "Well, I just want you to know he's going to be there." I was like, "Who's he?" And she said, Ernie, because everybody calls him Ernie. And I was like, I'm not going. I was so upset, but I was like, okay, let me go, whatever. And we get there, and he's sitting right there. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So Lovey kind of likes to talk more than I do. And first of all, I already wasn't feeling the whole mix up or setup. And he kept talking to me. And I was like, I wish he stopped talking to me because I'm not trying to, like.
She ain't lying. she would get up, walk away, go talk to people at other tables. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. See, okay, so here's some common ties. Because at that time, I was going to UC Davis, where you go.
Hey, UCD, go Ags.
And so I just got out of the service. So I was going to UCD full time. I was working 3 jobs. And I was working at Home Depot. I was working so basically my big auntie, she was like my mom's best friend. She was like, look, you just need to just come with me to this party and you need to get out of the house. Your mama watch the baby. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got this. So that's how I got out. So I was happy to talk to anybody at that point that had nothing to do with school.
He just trying to say that, but he saw me and he was like, okay, that's her.
Again, she ain't lying. And long story short, though, to speed this up, so she didn't like me. She told everybody I was a nerd. I was not her type.
I didn't tell everybody.
She told a lot of people.
I didn't tell
just everybody that I knew.
Right. Everybody that I came in contact with.
Right. So there was a series of things that took place, and she didn't like me that night. I knew. I called my cousin and said I found the one. And then my grandparents were having their 50th anniversary, and I was emceeing. So our friends invited her. And so she got to see me in my MC status.
No, that's not how it happened at all. I'll go ahead and let you tell that. Okay, so when we were leaving the party, my coworker, his big auntie, it was like she made us sit down and she goes, "Okay, so did you guys exchange information?" I said no. He said no. So she just kind of gave us the mama look, like exchange information. And there you go. That was the exact look. He gave me his card. I gave him my card. And then a few days later, he called and we talked. And I was like, okay, he seems nice, And we talked a couple more times. He invited me to come to the birthday, not the birthday, but the anniversary party. And I was like, okay, maybe, And Christmas Eve, that was the day before Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, my friend was having a party at her house. And I was like, okay, I asked her, I said, well, can I invite him just so we could see if there's more chemistry? She said, yeah. So Lovey came. We sat down in the formal area and we talked for 3 hours. And after that, when it was time to go, I was like, oh, if he would have said, let's get married, I would have said, okay, let's go. Because I knew, I was like, oh, we finna get married. I'm finna go get my dress right now. So that was it.
So that timeline went from we met on December 16th,
Till
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, I'm ready for the proposal.
Wow.
Hey, all I gotta say is nerds got game.
Game. You know what I'm saying? Game. What?
I can't even
week.
disagree.
That's all he did 1 week. So first off, there's a lot of things said in there, but want to say thank you for your service and thank you for your persistence in going after Snooks. Well done. But in the time that y'all first met at that party, right, and she was walking away possibly to now, what is maybe the biggest lesson y'all have learned about each other, just as people, as married couples?
Oh man, there's so much land, or we traversed a lot of land. I got stabbed by her ex, had 2 surgeries. She asked for a divorce. Year 4.
So hold on, Lovey.
You just gonna
You can't. And you know, I read the thing on the website, so like I knew that, but it's still like you can't just zoom over. You got stabbed by the ex. I feel like there needs to be at least a sprinkle of context inside of that.
Okay, so he had been out of the picture for over a year. All of a sudden, it's like he started trying to come around, calling, showing up at my job and whatever. And I'm like, go away, leave me alone, blah, 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 what have you. And it became to where he like started stalking me. So when Lovey and we got engaged, actually before we got engaged, he was just like very persistent. Lovey and I went out and I was like, look, I think we should just break up. And he was like, for what? And I told him, having problems, he keeps bothering me, blah, 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 whatever. Mind you, I went to get a restraining order and they told me that the restraining order was not granted because during the course of our relationship, there had not been like any abuse or anything like that. No one said I should have filed like a harassment type of. I didn't know anything about that. This was not until like after the fact. But he showed up at my job with a wedding ring, like out of the blue. I turned around and he's there. It was almost like a fatal attraction kind of thing.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, this is not cool. That's when I went and applied for the restraining order, didn't get it, tried to break up with him because my whole thing was I do not want an altercation. I don't want him, any type of violence or anything like that happening. The day after, not the day after, we got engaged on Tuesday. Sunday, he showed up at church out of the blue. He saw the ring. He was like, what's I was like, I'm engaged. He lost it. He went on about his way, but he kept calling me. Lovey and I went on, did our thing. He shows up at my house. It was much later that evening. My cousin was living with me, and when he rang the doorbell, no, I don't even think he rang the doorbell.
Can you get synopsis?
That's what happened. So okay, anyway, he came in the house. He got in the house. I knew it was him, so I was like trying to get him out of the house. He got physical with me. Lovey came around the corner, and then they started fighting. We tried to break him up, and then the next thing I know, Lovey was like, I think he cut me. I turned the light on. There's blood everywhere. I turned and saw that he had a knife in his hand. We had to call the ambulance. It was just crazy.
Oddly enough, I ended up at UCD Hospital.
Again, go Ags. Look, saving lives left and right.
Right. And the first procedure was to save my life. And then I had an amazing ICU nurse that just did not like the way I was presenting. And she went over the attending cardiologist's head, went to the chief of cardiology for UCD and said, I need you to take a look at this guy. And they found out. So he ordered tests that the attending cardiologist refused to run. And come to find out, there was a shunt on the backside of my heart, or a hole. Wow. And it's like if you take a balloon that has like a little pinprick in it and put it underwater, you can see that. That's what my heart looked like, where you had blood shooting out the back of my heart. And so they had to go. I had to heal well enough for them to go back in and do the second surgery.
45 days later.
And actually, it was 52 days later.
Oh, my bad.
And it was good. It was actually the best thing that ever happened to me, only because it's one of those things where it's life affirming, if nothing else. But my relationship with my creator, with God, has never been better since then. But it puts things in perspective. I don't really sweat the small stuff because it really don't matter.
Right.